So it seems like the Deadlock developers have finally listened to the community and pushed the long-awaited matchmaking update that a lot of players have been waiting for. Whether you're a new player to Deadlock or you've been playing for quite some time now, the biggest complaint I've seen across social media is the matchmaking. Whether it's players not being placed in the correct rank, or feeling like the players that they're playing with are just not of the same skill level, the matchmaking has been the main complaint of Deadlock for the past couple months now. Just a couple days ago, it was reported by some Deadlock news accounts on Twitter that Valve has quietly rolled out a major overhaul of the ranking system, and that everything works differently now. Before we get into all the changes with the new matchmaking and how you're placed in the ranking system, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Deadlock news or updates in the future. And make sure to watch until the end of the video so you know exactly what's affecting your matchmaking and your rank going forward. It all started with a tweet from Deadlock Intel saying that a hidden matchmaking change seems to have gone out, making your rank climb/fall roughly 6 times as fast. They attached this screenshot of a website called StatLocker showcasing a player called Biscuit. This player reportedly dropped from being the #1 ranked Warden down to just 325 in just 4 losses. And this is what truly sparked the discussion of these hidden matchmaking changes that Valve may have quietly pushed into the live game. Deadlock UA then put out this tweet letting everyone know that there has been some changes to the matchmaking system, and they listed 6 different things that will now affect your matchmaking and your rank. The first thing that they listed was top tier stats, and those include things like your MVPs, your top damage, your objective scores, and your team commendations. These stats will now significantly accelerate your rank up speed, and in turn also your rank down speed. The next thing on this list was that win streaks will now carry much more weight when it comes to placing you in a rank. If you go on a major win streak of 4 or 5 wins in a row, you are much more likely to rank up, but the same will go in reverse. If you go on a loss streak, you're much more likely to drop a rank. Deadlock UA also reported that lobby balancing will now accurately reflect your current rank. A main complaint for a lot of players is that they felt like a lot of their teammates or the enemies they were playing against were not within their rank. If this change truly works, you should see much more balanced games on both teams. They also said that your match history, including the difficulty of some of your past games, will be aggregated to provide an additional boost to your rank. So any games that you had prior to these changes taking place may give you an additional boost in your rank depending on the difficulty of those games. If you're constantly finding yourself in games where the enemy team is just a higher rank than you, this change could definitely help boost you up in ranks with just a couple wins now that these changes have been applied. They also said there's a possibility that player commendations will now have a substantial impact on the ranking speed. The more you are praised at the end of games with commendations, the faster you will climb. Deadlock UA did follow up on this point in specific, just to say that the info about commendations isn't confirmed and isn't 100% factual. So at the end of your games, make sure to give your teammates some commendations because there is a possibility that it's currently affecting your rank. So overall, your rank adjustments should now occur approximately 6 times faster than before, and this will be in both directions. Ranking up and ranking down will now happen much faster. A lot of these changes will be good to hear for some players because they just were not happy with the matchmaking system the way it was, but it seems like the Deadlock developers are tracking way more than just this when it comes to determining your rank. Deadlock Intel then gave us some more information, and they said that Valve is feeding a lot more than just your KDA into their ranking model after each match. And they gave their own list of certain stats that are affecting your rank and matchmaking going forward. The first one that is allegedly being tracked in the background is how fast you're moving on the map. With Deadlock's movement system being so robust and such a large part of the skill gap, tracking the movement speed of players across the map is something that Valve could use to determine a player's skill level. And having efficient movement usually indicates that that player is probably pretty skilled. The next one is how often your active items are on cooldown. So if you like playing support heroes right now in Deadlock, like Paige or Rem, this is something that I would pay attention to going forward when it comes to your rank. Valve could be tracking the usage of your active items in the background to see how efficient you're being when buying these items. A high skill level player will always be using their active items in the most efficient way possible. And a player that's buying active items but not using them that often is probably on the lower end of the skill spectrum. This next one is super important, and that's time spent not contributing to game events. Game events in this context would be objectives on the map like the urn, the mid-boss, and possibly even the guardians and the walkers. If your team is fighting over an objective on the map like the urn and you're not contributing to that objective and just farming the jungle or pushing the opposite lane, this could be affecting the way that the game is thinking about your skill level. Of course, split pushing is a viable strategy if your team is fighting over urn and you push the opposite lane to take the walker, but spending time alone in the jungle when there's objectives on the map is going to start penalizing your rank. The next one is how efficient your build was in any given game. This could be seen in many different ways, but the way I see it is investing too much into one stat. If you're buying only orange items and not buying any green or purple items, this could be seen as less efficient when it comes to the game analyzing your skill level. The last one is probably the most obvious, but it's still an important stat to mention, and that is your share of the team's net worth. If you're falling behind in souls because you're not farming enough or because you're dying too often, the game will be looking at this stat to analyze your skill level. You obviously don't have to have the most souls in the lobby at all times, especially on certain heroes, but falling behind too much may now affect your rank. They also attached this screenshot showing what the game is truly tracking in the background, and it's even more than what I just listed. Things like how often you're sliding, your parries, your time spent in the shop, and even things like your dash jumps per minute and your wall jumps per minute are being tracked in the background to determine your skill level. This is all important to know if you're taking your rank seriously, and especially when the ranked mode officially comes out. This is all information that you want to know if you're going to be going for a high rank in Deadlock. But this wasn't the only thing that the Deadlock devs have added to the game recently. Deadlock Intel let us know that a new update silently added survey questions related to character categories at the end of games. One example is how good is this hero at utility or healing? Some other examples include questions like how good of a frontliner is this hero, or how good of a carry is this hero, or how good is this hero at disable or crowd control. You may have already seen these surveys at the end of your games if you've been playing in the last couple days, but make sure to fill these out at the end of your games because it gives the Deadlock devs a lot of insight on how the players are viewing the game. So let me know your opinions on these matchmaking and ranked changes. It seems like a lot of the community is in favor of most of these changes, with a lot of Deadlock pros and streamers speaking pretty highly about these changes, but there's still the question of when is the official ranked mode coming to Deadlock, but these changes could be the first steps to that. The devs could be testing some of these changes in order to get ready for a full ranked mode rollout. Some players believe that a rank reset is now pretty imminent, and we could see it hitting our ranks very soon. So let me know all your thoughts on these changes down below in the comments, and let me know if you've seen any changes to your rank just in the past couple days. As I say at the end of all of my videos, Deadlock is only going to get bigger in 2026, so make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Deadlock news or updates in the future. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video. Later.